right, let's see who all is live online on Facebook. My request to everybody who's watching me on Facebook after a break of 15 days, please allow StreamYard to access your name. Otherwise, StreamYard will show me just any Facebook user, and I'll not be able to acknowledge you or your comments. In case if you are commenting, I will definitely try and go on Facebook, because I'm also trying to be on Instagram at the same time. Smita Sinha, Sam the Danger, Vidushi, Shweta Chaudhary, Mubs, Aarti Nandwani. And I can see comments already started coming into my StreamYard. Anita Motwani, Vidushi, Varu. So many of you are joining in at this time. This is so good. Neeti Shahi. So good. All right. So today, I thought, I will talk about a very, very interesting topic. And if you have your kids around, my request would be that you should definitely make your kids sit along with you to listen to this, because today's topic is very interesting. And I hope I am able to, empower some mothers here with some crazy pieces of information which will really help you shape your child's career well. And if the kids are listening to me on Instagram, I so hope that you will take something back home. I can see so many of you on the Instagram already. Aditya Sharma, Pujita, Harshita, Sangeeta Sundarraj. This is so good. All right. So way above 200 on Facebook already, and way above 45, 50 on Instagram, and this is climbing. I came without much notice, so this is good that you guys are still here listening to me. How have you been? How was the weekend earlier? I had a fun time. I went to Goa, and it seemed that Goa is absolutely not touched by COVID, because everybody seems to be there. And I really had a blast with a good friend of mine there, along with my family. It was fun, and it's refreshing now after 9-10 months to go for a small 4-day vacation and then coming back and talking to you. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you all about how the world is going to change post COVID. Now, prior to COVID, when the COVID wasn't there, because COVID just happened, let's say, we actually took a cognizance of it only in the month of February. Before that, we were not even bothered. We were not taking cognizance because something was happening in China, till that time, and we were really not bothered, right? And it was not only you; it was me as well. I still remember around early February, I boarded my flight to Bali, and I was like, okay, something is happening in China. It will be controlled by the time, possibly I'll come back from my annual vacation. So I actually was boarding my flight along with my family to Bali. It was all normal. You left the airport very normally. You did your security, you did your immigration, and you were in the flight. And for many of us who know that Bali does not have a direct flight, so either you go from Bangkok or you go from Singapore. I took the Bangkok route, landed in Bangkok, a layover of a couple of hours, and then we were on our way to Bali. 15 days of phenomenal vacation. Enjoyed my surfing. For some of you who do not know that I enjoy surfing, so I enjoyed my surfing, and I realized I'm aging and I should not take that much of a chance anymore. But enjoyed my surfing, and we were on the way back. On the way back, we had this, short, sweet shopping vacation in Bangkok for 2 days. And we landed in Bangkok because Bali, we were there on a resort, completely oblivious what's happening in the world, not watching TV, just being in the pool or in the sea. Once we came back on the way back, we came to Bangkok and we realized something is strange, because at the airport we had this thermal screening, and I was like, what the heck is this? But still, since you are still on vacation, you're still not watching the news, you're still not understanding what's happening around the world. So you quickly did your shopping for 2-3 days and you came back. You are sitting in the flight to India, and the flight takes up, and just about time when you are about to land, and there are these weird announcements, and they're like, if you land in Delhi, you will be subjected to thermal screening, and in case if you have slight fever, in case if you have a runny nose, or in case if you're coughing, they will put you aside and they will quarantine you, and they'll take you. And it was very scary. It was very, very scary. 15 days back when I left, I was I left in a very normal mode, and here, while entering my own country, I was really scared. uh, something weird happened after that. I landed in the Delhi airport, and both me, my wife, and my kid, we were subjected to thermal screening. And the beautiful part was that my wife and my son were let through, and I was stopped because my body temperature was a little high. And it took me 2.5 hours to get out of that mess, because my body temperature was not going down, and fortunately, unfortunately, it wasn't fever, but it was still slightly higher than the normal body temperature, maybe because of too much of clothes I was wearing. It was peak winters in Delhi, and I was in 2-3 layers of clothes even in the flight. uh, so could be because of that. And the world suddenly changed, from somebody who took off for a vacation for 15 days in a very normal mode, came back, world suddenly changed. Now, fast forwarded to 8-9 months, we're sitting in December, trying to still figure out what kind of another vacation we should be taking. And things have completely changed now. Till about December last year, since we were oblivious to COVID, I used to come online and I used to say that, hey, we need to think about careers for the future. And everybody used to say, ये आता है, कुछ बोलता है, बड़बड़ाता है और चला जाता है, right? I never knew that the future that I'm talking about, because for me, the careers that I used to talk about were the careers for the high school kids when they graduate 4-5 years down the line. And I was like, okay, by the time these graduate, high school graduates pass out of college, they should be prepared for the future. So I was harping, talking to you, coming live, doing my webinars, doing my seminars, and I was actually talking to all of you, right? Both at Instagram and on Facebook, or in the seminars I used to take in schools. I used to talk about careers for the future, but nobody was taking me seriously. Today, the future is already here, right? So those careers which I was thinking about, that your child and my child should actually be able to do 5-7 years down the line, it's happening right here. The world has completely changed, and today is not about careers or about the future careers. Today, I'm going to talk about a piece of information which is very critical for parents to understand. It is equally critical for the students to understand. Uh, Businesses across the globe have changed post COVID. They have completely changed. The world has been shaken up so much that it's like that one of those tipping points. So about 65 million years ago, there was a tipping point when some asteroids hit the Earth, and these slow lumbering dinosaurs vanished, in thin air, and the fast moving mammals, the slurring mammals, eventually survived, and then they evolved into human beings like us, right? Similarly, something like that has happened now. And world has been hit by this pandemic, and believe you me, 20% of the companies will either shut down post COVID in next 2 or 3 or 4 quarters. Most of the companies who are struggling will stop the production or the services of the products and services they were dealing with, and will try and innovate something new. And this will happen. In 2008, even when, and this is not the first time that mankind has seen crisis. 2008, we saw the biggest of the financial downturns and biggest of the financial crisis. Everybody thought that the internet era is over because it's overutilized and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, we saw this WhatsApp and AWS and all these things coming up, and the cloud computing was being talked about. Even today, cloud computing is possibly in its the early infant stages. It's still not arrived per se. So things are going to be evolving, and businesses are going to change, and you will see a massive change in next 6 to 12 months. So just 6 to 12 months, you will see a lot of big companies shutting down. You will see a lot of big players trying to innovate and trying to find their way. But instead, the people who will actually make it big will be those new age companies who have been able to shift their focus really faster, and were really agile, and were really innovative, and were really creative to make the best out of this disaster. Because every destruction, every disaster Every problem is a big opportunity. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity is for the business people, right? For the entrepreneurs. That's what they teach you, should ideally teach you in commerce or business. So for all those parents who wanting, or all those kids who are wanting to do business education, it's pretty important that you guys understand, or for all those kids who want to study BBA and the BMS and the bachelor's in management. It's very, very important for you guys to understand that the degrees are going to change, and they have to change. World is going to be very digital, whether you like it or not. Even after the vaccine is being put into each and every soul on planet Earth, the world is definitely not coming back to normal. You have to accept this fact. So all those fat, flashy offices, fat, flashy business travel, companies are not going to be investing in it, because there'll be one logical soul who will say, hey, when the work is happening on Zoom, why the hell are we making somebody travel so much and make him stay in the 5 stars and the 7 stars and the suites of the world? These things are not happening. Digitization will always lead to dematerialization. It will always lead to demonetization. It will always lead to democratization. So you have to understand, as kids and as parents, that everything possibly will be looked at, whether we can digitize this or not digitize this. And so is the business education, which needs to change its focus from very traditional business education to an education which is there for the virtual world, because we are not coming back to the normal world. We will definitely stick around to the digital world. The curve has shifted a lot higher. It might just come down a little, but it is definitely not coming back to the previous era, pre-COVID era. Some examples like WeWork and all. When WeWork came, we really thought this is the next big thing, and this is the next in thing, because they're going to reduce the cost, and this this working places can be combined into work, and you can hire WeWork and do all that. And all of a sudden, post COVID, even WeWork is trying to find its own feet. So things have changed dramatically, and so will all the businesses, be it real estate, be it banking, be it education, be it healthcare, be it hospitality, be it travel and tourism. Everything is going to be going to see a massive change in next 6 to 12 months. उससे ज्यादा वेट नहीं करना पड़ेगा आपके बच्चों को और आपको और मुझको वो चेंजेस देखने के लिए. Some of the biggest names that you hear will possibly shut their shops, because they will never be able to come back to the pre-COVID era, and they will be very late in innovating. So it's very important that all of you out there explain it to your kids, and you also understand it, that and for everybody who's listening to me on Instagram, if I'm looking up, I'm talking to you, Instagram, and if I'm looking down, I'm talking to you, Facebook. Unfortunately, we have still not been able to find out a way where I can talk to both of you with the same eye length. So it's very important that you understand that all the businesses across, be it any sector, will change, right? Most evident changes will happen on the edge. There are certain sectors on the edge. For example, education is always on the edge, and healthcare is always on the edge. There are certain sectors which are on the edge, which actually define the human race, and there are certain sectors which are away from the edge. So the sectors that define the human race is education and healthcare, right? Till prior to COVID, telemedicine, not only in India but even in US, was struggling. It was going through a struggling phase. People used to show on telemedicine once, they never used to come back in an entire year, because there was no faith on telemedicine. All of a sudden, the norms for telemedicine have been formed across the globe, including India, and your own physician has seen you through the telemedicine. I, along with my entire family, went through COVID just about a month back, and we did not step outside our home, because no doctor was ready to look into us, simply because we were going through mild symptoms, and the doctor does not want us to visit them. And you know that the doctors are also not looking at you if you have flu, cough, or you have a runny nose, or you have a fever. Even the doctors are refusing to see you personally. So all of a sudden, the norms for telemedicine came up, and your and my local nukkadwala doctor also saw us only on a Zoom call or on a telecall. So things have changed, not only in healthcare, education. Who thought that we will allow our children to practice music, or study art, or practice yoga, or even do the schooling completely online, right? We were so used to that physical brick and mortar schools and coaching institutes. Things have considerably changed. Now what's going to happen is, for kids, yes, they are missing the physical ambience of the school, they're missing meeting their friends. They will definitely go back to the school once the school opens. The physical setup for the school will be there, but education will always remain click, brick and click, right? Going forward, you will not want your child to go for a tuition traveling half an hour, or you will not want your child to go for a coaching institute traveling 45 minutes. You will say, hey buddy, why don't you just take it online and save that time, and save that time, and utilize the same time, utilize the same time, possibly studying. Traveling hours will be saved. There's so much change that education has seen and the healthcare has seen that you can't even imagine. um, you know it's not that we were not witnessing the change. We all were witnessing the change, just that we were not cognizant of it. uh, Zoom did not come this year. Zoom was actually there for very many years. It got listed publicly in last year with a valuation of about $7 billion. Today, Zoom's valuation is about $30 billion, right? Just about a year. It's not that teleconferencing or video conferencing was not there. We all remember Skype. We all remember the WebEx. Just that Zoom did make the Skype and the WebEx much simpler for a normal human being, for a normal person. Zoom made it much simpler, and that's why Zoom came up. So it's not that at the end of this world, or this era, it'll only be Zoom. There'll be newer platforms which will come in, which will be better than Zoom, which will make life much easier than Zoom for people around. And so we should not be worried that the time is lost, and the sectors or the industries which are supposed to change have already changed, and the leaders are already there. No, nothing like that. Innovation will keep on happening. So another important parameter will be innovation. When we look at education, especially the business education, if you're looking at BBA or BMS or a bachelor's in management for your kids, for all those parents and students who are looking at commerce, commerce with maths, or commerce with without maths, or business management as the future course of action, you need to understand, we really need degrees which are high on innovation, which are high on creativity, which are high on analytical skills, because eventually now the business education has to prepare us for a virtual world than the physical world. We are not getting back to the earlier, the so used to physical world that we were used to. And this is what I really wanted to drive today, that I see so many kids even this year preparing for the Christ and the Narsimunjis and the Symbiosis of the world. Go out there and prepare for it, and you want to get into it. It makes all the sense. But then world has definitely changed. How we should look at business education has completely changed. Sectors across the globe, like I said, real estate, hospitality, retail, tourism, education, healthcare, banking, everything has changed overnight. And the jobs will change considerably. So if you think that after doing a normal BBA or a normal BIM or a BMS, you and me will be able to find a suitable job, that ain't happening. That's not happening in any time soon, because the world is definitely not coming back to the pre-COVID era. And this is where I want to tell you guys that I along with High School Moms is hosting a super informative webinar on 19th of this month, which is this weekend, at around 12 p.m. and be there. The link to register for that webinar is there on your Facebook group. It's there on the Facebook pages. It's also there in the bio of the Instagram handle of highschoolmoms.community. So register for that webinar, where we'll talk about the future of business education, how the business education is evolving, how it will evolve for your and my kids if they're looking at doing the commerce with maths, commerce without maths, BBA, BMS, or bachelor's in management. So how it will evolve, how it will change. Be there on this 19th. It is going to be a 1 hour super informative session. Please ensure that you ask your kids to join in, especially if they are into commerce, if they are in 11th or 12th, or even if they are in 10th and still looking at taking commerce next year, you should definitely ask your kids to join on 19th of December, this weekend at 12 p.m., where I will be in conversation with a leading person and a personality from a leading B school, talking about the future course of business education. Until that time, take care, stay safe. It was lovely talking to you guys after a break of 15 days, and I hope that you guys stay indoors, stay completely safe, and you are there on 19th December watching my webinar on the future course of business education. Take care. Good night.